Hi everyone! I'm Hannah, the museum educator here at the Transcona Museum. Welcome to the first day of Craft With Us Cooking Week. Today we will be making edible gardens. So for this craft you will need graham crackers, chocolate pudding, and something to scoop the chocolate pudding with, crushed Oreos, melted chocolate in a piping bag. I'm just have a makeshift piping bag here, made it out of a Ziploc bag. Or you could also just use a knife to kind of spread on the chocolate. And then any candies of your choice. I have some gummy worms to put in my gardens. I have marshmallows to look like maybe potatoes or something. And then some of these like fruit candies that might look like watermelons or something. So any type of candy that you think might look like a vegetable or a fruit or whatever that you grow in your garden. All right, and I would actually suggest having paper towels handy or like a cloth because it gets kind of messy with the chocolate. Yeah, so before you start, to make sure that you wash your hands. It's important to have clean hands when you're working with food or anything that you might eat. So I wash my hands before this, but just for good measure, I'm gonna sanitize again. All right. So let's get started. So I have my plate here with 4 graham crackers and my melted chocolate in a bag, or in a piping bag, I guess. If you have the rectangular graham crackers rather than like these ones, the square ones, you're going to have to cut them so you have shorter ends that'll be the ends of your rectangles, and then the longer ends are the sides of your rectangles. But since these are square, I don't really have to cut them to make my boxes. Alright, so basically what you're going to do is take your melted chocolate and squeeze it onto the sides of your graham crackers to basically make like a glue so that they can stick together. So I'm gonna place this on the side. You're gonna have to hold it for a couple seconds, maybe add some more chocolate in just so it really sticks. All right, so then we'll hold that side. Okay. All right. And then we'll do the next graham cracker. So this one you're going to do the bottom and the side so it can stick to the graham cracker we just put up. This is probably going to take a good amount of chocolate, you know, to get them to stick and to stand up, and also some patience, just because you kind of have to let them sit for a bit before moving on to the next cracker. And also I will say it again when we're done, but once you've put your boxes together, you are going to need to let it sit in the fridge probably for about 15 to 20 minutes for the chocolate to completely harden before you put anything inside your garden boxes, just to make sure that they don't come apart when you start putting them together, or sorry, putting stuff inside the garden boxes like your pudding. See, this is why we need napkins, because I've already got chocolate on my fingers. All right. So just repeating the process with another cracker. make sure that they're all aligned. Just putting a bit of chocolate on the insides to make sure it's extra stable. All right, and I just gotta grab one more graham cracker. This one we'll do both sides because it joins 2 graham crackers. All right. So once you have your garden box put together with your chocolate and it's sturdy enough that it stands up on its own, put it in the fridge for 15 to 20 minutes or until the chocolate completely hardens. All right, so here's my put together garden box. But I do have 2 solidified ones that I have had in the fridge to continue the craft with. So the next step after you've taken them out of the fridge, the chocolate is solidified mostly, they look pretty sturdy. You will take your chocolate pudding and fill your box about most of the way, probably leaving about a 1/4 inch gap. Okay. So, putting my chocolate pudding in. This can represent the dirt or the earth or soil. Probably takes about 1 pudding cup per garden box, so I have 2 pudding cups here. Some of you may know this, some of you may be a part of this, but actually Transcona has a gardening club. So there's lots of avid gardeners here in Transcona. It's been around for over 50 years and it's affiliated with the Manitoba Horticultural Association. And part of the club's mission statement is to promote interest in horticulture and instill a love of gardening within the community and maintain awareness of Transcona as a park city. So a lot of you probably know that Transcona is known as a park city, just because there's so many lovely nature parks all around. Oops, spilled some on the side, that's all right. Like, for example, the Transcona Bioreserve, George Olive Park, just to name a few. All right. So now that I have my garden boxes filled with my pudding or my dirt or soil, I'm going to add even more dirt and soil by adding the crushed Oreos on top of that. I crushed up about 3 or 4 Oreos for this, so probably about the same. You should crush up the same, I mean. All right, so just finish these off. Okay, so now that we have our dirt and our soil in our garden boxes, it's time to add whatever we want to grow in these garden boxes. So for one of the garden boxes, I'm gonna put in these candies. So they've got like a pink side, so I'm gonna say that that's watermelon. We're growing watermelon in my garden box today. I'll put 2 in there. I've seen some other people do this craft and put in orange Myconix to make it look like you're growing carrots. There's lots of options. I'm gonna use yellow on the other side, and maybe that'll be like a turnip or something. All right, okay, and then I'm gonna put 1 gummy worm or a couple gummy worms in each, because gummy worms are decomposers, so they help your soil be very rich and good for growing things. It is important though not to overpack your boxes, especially if the chocolate's not completely hardened, because they can fall apart if they weren't in the fridge for long enough. Alright. So I got my watermelons, I've got my gummy worms, I've got my turnips and some more gummy worms. And lastly, I'm gonna throw some marshmallows in, and these can be potatoes, let's say. All right, so here I have my garden boxes. Make sure that I would suggest probably putting them back in the fridge for a little bit before eating or serving them. So thank you so much for joining me on this first day of cooking week. On Wednesday, we will be making edible marshmallow paint, and on Friday, we'll be making butter in a jar. So if you're interested in joining me along here on Facebook Live, the supply list is posted on our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also purchase a craft kit, which has all of the supplies you'll need for the week, on our website, and you can pick that up at the museum. And we also have in-person crafting spots if you wanted to come do this in person with me. So check those out on our website. There's 3 different times. There's limited slots, so make sure you book. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day, and I hope you enjoy eating your edible garden boxes.